Hello everyone and welcome back to part 7 on the how to make a Battlegrounds game series. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to make the fourth attack, which is going to be a dash finished by a punch. And also in the upcoming tutorial, in the next tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to polish all of these attacks and make them feel way better and add trails and more rocks on the ground and all that, and improve on everything that we've done so far. Before this video starts, if you guys want to support me and want to have access to all of my project files, including the one you're watching right now, they will all be available on my Patreon in the $10 tier. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is to make a couple of animations. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the avatar tab over here, and we're going to click on rig builder, make sure to select R6 and go to block avatar. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the animation editor, and we're going to click on our rig, and we'll make a dash animation. So I already have a dash animation, so I'll show you how mine looks. I'm not an animator, so it's pretty bad, but this is it. It's just the player tilting forwards and looking like he's about to dash. So this is going to be the animation that we're going to be playing when we're going to be pushing the player forwards. So it's just one keyframe, and looped is checked. Make sure that looped is checked. So just click on this button over here, and then you're going to go to these three dots over here and go to set animation priority and make sure that it's set to action. Now you can publish your animation by going to the three dots again, publish to Roblox, and just call it whatever you want. I'm just going to call it -2 and delete local instances, why not? And then you will copy this ID that they're going to give you. Just click on this button and it's going to copy it. Now you can just create a part in the workspace, and we're just going to set its name to the name of that ID. And I'm just going to make it red to remember that this is the dash animation. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make another animation, and it's going to be a punch animation, which is going to play at the end of the dash. But I'll show you my punch animation. Actually, it's not mine. I got it from some model. But yeah, so I'm going to go to the avatar editor again, and I'm pretty sure my punch animation is just I have to find it first. I think it's just hit 1. Yeah, it's just this. Okay, so this is my punch animation. Make sure that at the end of the punch, when you want to damage the other player, you will go ahead and add animation event here, and make sure that you call it hit, and then you just press save. And that's going to be an animation event that's going to happen when we reach the end of the punch, so that we damage the other players. Now you will do the same thing. Make sure it's not looped. This one should not be looped. And go to the three dots again, set animation priority, make sure that it's set to action, publish to Roblox, and then you can just copy your ID. But I already have my ID saved, so I'm not going to do that. Okay, so the next thing we need to do, why do we have all of these dummies over here? I'm gonna just get rid of a few. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is to, okay, so we're gonna go to server script service, and we're gonna go to server, handlers, character, no, basic, no, not basic attacks, I forgot. I think it was, okay, character handler, characters, hunter. I don't know why it's called hunter. It has nothing to do with hunting. I just called it that. Okay, so we're gonna go to the fourth one, the fourth attack, and here's what we're gonna do here. So we're gonna have to create a remote event. Okay, so what we need to do here is, first of all, we need to add a function module.init function. And in here, what we're gonna do is, okay, so we're gonna go here and we're gonna do local, we're gonna do module.modules equals an empty table. And then we'll do local hitboxes. I think, what is it called? It's called attack hitboxes. Okay, attack hitboxes, and it's going to be set to nil. So we're gonna go down here and we're gonna do attack hitboxes equals module.modules.attack hitboxes. And so this just gets the attack hitboxes module, because if you remember when you organized the game, we made sure to have all of the loaded modules stored in this module. And in here, we're just loading that module and setting it to this variable over here. Okay, so what we need to do now is to fire a remote event. So to do that, we're going to need to get events. So local events equals replicated storage.events. Now we're going to need to go here, and we're going to do events dot, and we need a remote event that we will add here, add a remote event to the events folder, and we will call it, let's call it dash client, dash attack client, dash attack client. Okay, maybe to make this more organized, I think we should have it like this. We should have a folder, and we're gonna call it hunter, the name of our character. And we're just going to take the dash attack client, and we're gonna put it here. And I'm just going to call it hunter dash client attack. Okay, that's a little too long. Let's just call it hunter dash client, even though, okay, that's a little too long. Anyways, so here's what we're gonna do here. Events, square brackets, script dot parent dot name dot hunter dash client colon fire client, and we're just going to fire it to the player. Okay, so now what we need to do here is we need to create another remote event, and so just duplicate the same one, but this time is going to be server, and we will set up the event over here. I'm gonna call it local function hunter dash server, or just hunter dash, or maybe just dash, and that will just take the player and the victim character. I'll explain this later when we script the client. And in here we're gonna do events dot square brackets script dot parent dot name dot hunter dash server dot on server event colon connect, and we're gonna we're gonna call the dash, we're gonna connect to the dash function over here. Okay, so now we're gonna go back to the client, start character scripts, characters client, and scripts, character attacks, hunter, and we're gonna add a local script actually. A local script, and we'll just call it for. And what I'm going to do here, and let's also call this one 1. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is local replicated storage equals game, come on, get service replicated storage. By the way, if you found the naming a little confusing, you can just change it to whatever you want. You can just call it dash attack or whatever, but I think that this is going to be better for me, because in the next videos when we're going to be perfecting these attacks that we made, we're going to be doing a lot of attacks, and I think it's more organized this way. Okay, so local events equals replicated storage colon wait for child events. Now we're gonna do events colon wait for child, and we're gonna do script. Okay, events dot. Let's just do events script dot parent. Do we have to use wait for child? I don't know. Let's just use it for safety. Script dot parent dot name colon wait for child. What is it? Hunter dash client dot on client event colon connect function. And here's what we're gonna do here. Okay, so we're gonna get the player first. Local player equals game dot players dot local player. Now we're gonna do local connection, and it's going to be set to nil. And now we're gonna do local character equals player dot character. Now we're gonna do local humanoid root part. We're gonna get the character, the humanoid root part, and the humanoid. So just do this. And then what we need to do is we need to load the dash animation. So here's what we're gonna do. We will have a an animation in this script, and it's going to be called dash. And we're just going to set the animation ID to the one that we just copied over here. Or I already have mine, so I'll just get it from my other place. Okay, I got it. But for you, you're gonna paste in the ID of your dash animation. Okay, so we're gonna do local loaded dash animation, and it's going to be humanoid.animator gonna load animation script.dash animation. So we're gonna load the animation, then we're gonna play the animation, and then what we're gonna do is load the punch animation, which we're gonna do the same thing. I'm going to duplicate this one, and I'm going to call it punch, and I'll just call it Okay, this should be called dash, sorry. And this should be punch. And now I have to paste in the ID. So just paste in the ID of your punch animation here. And now what we need to do is we're going to set the humanoid's walk speed to 0. And then we'll play the loaded dash animation. Column play. Oh, I don't think I need to play it twice. Let's just do it here. Okay. And then we need to create a linear velocity. So local linear velocity equals instance.new linear velocity. Now linear velocity dot attachment 0 is going to be humanoid root part dot root attachment. And the max force is going to be set to 100,000. And the relative to property is going to be set to world instead of attachment. And the linear velocity's parent is going to be the humanoid root part. Now what we're going to do is we're going to have a boolean over here. It's going to be local stopped dashing equals false. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a function called stop dashing in here, local function stop dashing, and it's going to take a parameter and it's going an argument and it's going to be victim. Okay, and now we need to, before we stop dashing, we need to make the player actually dash. So we're going to do that first. So first of all, we need to connect the connection. So connection is going to be equal to run service, which we didn't get. So we need to get run service, local run service equals game call get service run service. And the connection is going to be equal to run service dot render step to connect function. And now we need to shoot a array, but before we do all that, we need to set the linear velocities linear velocity. So linear velocity dot vector velocity, not linear velocity. So linear velocity dot vector velocity is going to be equal to humanoid root part dot cframe dot look vector multiplied by 100. So 100 is going to be the speed at which you're going to be dashing. So you can just mess around with this number however you want. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some raycast params. So local params equals raycast params.new and params.filter descendant instances equals, and we're just going to type in the character. And now we're going to do params dot filter type equals enum.raycast filter type dot exclude. And now we need to actually shoot a ray. So local array cast, let's just do local array results equals workspace colon array cast. Or let's do a block cast. So workspace colon block cast, and we're gonna start from the humanoid root part C frame, and then we're gonna set the size of the block to 2, 2, 2, and then we're gonna set the direction to be the humanoid root part dot cframe dot look vector. So just copy this, but don't multiply by 100. It should only be 2. And this is the number. So I have to explain this a little bit. So when you dash, you're gonna keep on dashing until you reach a certain point when you're close to a character. And when you're close to a character, there will be a distance between you and the other player, and that distance is this number over here. So the distance, how close you have to be to the player to stop dashing and initiate the punch. Okay, so now we need to send also the params that we created. Now we're gonna do if ray results first of all, if ray results equals if ray results is not equal to nil, then, and we're gonna check if ray results dot parent dot instance dot parent colon find first child humanoid, or ray results dot instance dot parent colon find first child humanoid. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna check if the instant dot parent colon find first child humanoid, then, and then we're gonna add an else. So if ray results dot instance dot parent colon find first child humanoid, then, and also an else. Okay, so now we need to call the stop dashing function, and it will take the victim, which is going to be the ray results dot instance dot parent in this case, but in this case it's going to be stop dashing ray results dot instance dot parent dot parent. Okay, so now what we need to do is add a task.delay over here. Task.delay, how long you want your dash to be. I want it to be around 0.6 seconds long. And if not, stop dashing, then stop dashing. Okay, so now in here in the stop dashing function, this is when we're gonna, well, stop the player from dashing. So stop the dashing equals true. And humanoid dot walk speed equals original walk speed, which I know we haven't defined yet, but here's what we're gonna do. Local original walk speed equals humanoid dot walk speed. And now we need to do humanoid root part assembly linear velocity equals vector3 dot 0, and humanoid root part assembly angular velocity equals humanoid dot 0. What am I saying? Vector3 dot 0. So that we reset the velocity so that the player stops instantly after. Okay, so now before that, we need to destroy the linear velocity. And now we need to stop the loaded dash animation. So loaded dash animation colon stop. And then we need to play the punch animation. So local punch animation, so loaded punch animation colon play. So when I initiate the punch animation. And then we're gonna check if the connection is not equal to nil, then connection colon disconnect. Okay, so what we need to do now is do loaded punch animation colon get marker reached signal hit, and if the victim is not equal to nil, then what we're gonna do is we're gonna fire the events square brackets script dot parent dot name dot and dash, what is it called, dash hunter dash server. That's a pretty horrible name. I suggest you change that name, but I don't think I want to do that. Okay, so after doing this, I think we should be, no, we're not ready to go to the server, because what I forgot to do is make sure that every time we do this, we're going to check if the connection is not equal to nil, then connection colon disconnect, and then we need to check stop dashing equals false. Okay. So this, I think, should be good. And now we're going to move on to the server. We're going to go and enter our server script. And what we're going to do here is mostly in this function, actually only in this function. So we need to get the character, the player, the character, the humanoid root part, and the humanoid again. And now here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to our third script, and as you can see, we have a punch sound, an explosion particle, and those are the two things that we're going to need, and we're going to duplicate them, and we're going to put them in the fourth script. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We will play the punch sound. So local punch sound equals script.punchSound colon clone. Punch sound dot parent is going to be the humanoid root part. Punch sound colon play. And now we're gonna get the debris service, local debris equals game colon get service debris. And now we're gonna do debris colon add item, and we're gonna do punch sound, comma, and punch sound dot time length plus 0.1. Okay, now we need to get the victim. So local victim. So the victim's player. So game. Do we have players? No, then we might as well just get players. Local players equals game colon get service players. And now down here we're gonna do players colon get player from character, and we're gonna do a victim character. And then we're gonna check if victim equals nil, then return end. By the way, this is the exact same thing as doing this, but I just like to have it in one line. Okay, so now that the victim is not equal to nil, then we're gonna make sure that the victim is ragdolled. So the victim's character is going to be ragdolled. So local, now we're gonna do the knockback. So local knockback attachment equals instance.new attachment. Knockback attachment dot parent equals victim character dot humanoid root part. Now we're gonna create a linear velocity. So local knockback linear velocity equals instance.new linear velocity. We're gonna set the knockback linear velocity dot max force to 99999. And now we're gonna set the attachment 0 to be the knockback attachment. And now we're gonna set the vector velocity to humanoid root part dot c frame dot look vector plus vector 3 dot new. Okay, wait, one thing that I'm wondering is, okay, yeah, we don't even need to create a new attachment for this. We can just use humanoid root part dot root attachment. And now we're gonna do, okay, so this knockback linear velocity dot vector velocity equals humanoid root part. So the actual player that punched the other player, we're gonna get the look vector and we're gonna multiply by 100, and then we're gonna make the player go, the victim go up, and this is that number that defines how high the player is going to go. Let's make it like 20 or 25, and I think 100 is a little too much. Let's just do 50 or 60. Okay, now we will get the explosion particle. So local explosion particle equals script dot explosion particle dot attachment colon clone explosion dot parent equals victim character dot humanoid root part. Now we're gonna loop through. Okay, this part is a little too long, so you can just go to the third script and copy this, and then go back here and paste it here, or else you can just copy it from my screen. And now we're gonna do task.delay 0.2 function, and here's what we're gonna do. I'm just going to copy everything that we have to do. So knockback linear velocity colon destroy task.wait 5 explosion colon destroy victim character dot is ragdoll dot value equals false. Okay, so now we need to just test this out. So I'll just start a server with 2 players and see how this goes. Okay guys, make sure that you are parenting the knockback linear velocity, so dot parent equals to the victim character dot humanoid root part. And make sure to do the same thing for the root attachment. So just make sure that this is victim character dot humanoid root part dot root attachment. And now we can test again with 2 players and see if this works. Okay, so we're gonna try and see if that works. I'm going to press 4 and yeah, it worked. Okay, let's do that again. Okay, I like it. Okay, so this is going to be it for this tutorial. If that helped, make sure to subscribe, like the video, share it with your friends, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!